As we know, ladies and gentlemen, Islam Makhachev is going to be moving to the welterweight division to challenge Jair Della Maddalena for the welterweight title. Now, I think that this is something that Islam is trying to do for the sake of creating his own legacy, right? Because that was something that Khabib Nurmagomedov wasn't able to do, right? And we all know that Islam Makhachev wants to separate himself from Khabib Nurmagomedov, right, by having his own legacy, and that's becoming a champion in two different divisions. But that left me with an interesting thought because this is something that we don't normally see anymore. And that is the fact that there's not that many champions, at least in the UFC, that care about having multiple title defenses. It's like now there seems to be a race to get to the top, right? Become champion and then move on to another division. I mean, Ilia Topuria is doing it. Islam Makhachev is doing it. Like, what champions are there in the UFC right now that have multiple title defenses and are only focused on being in their weight class right now? I mean, you can't really name that many if I'm just being completely honest. So that left me, with a question that I want to ask to each and every single one of you guys. Like, what do you guys think is more impressive, to have multiple title defenses or to become a champion in two different weight classes or in multiple different weight classes? If you ask me, I feel like clearing out a division multiple times is much more impressive and it's much more legacy defining than becoming a champion in two different weight classes. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that becoming a champion in two different weight classes isn't impressive, because it definitely is. If you could become a champion in one division, retire that belt and then move on to another division and beat the champion there, 100% without a doubt, that is impressive. And kudos to anybody that's able to do that. All the champions, that have been able to do that before. But if you ask me personally, there's not that many fighters in UFC history that have cleared out their divisions multiple times. Now, if you ask me personally, I do think that a fighter that stays in a division, clears it out, dominates that division for years, has multiple title defenses, is able to beat up and comer, a contender, people that have this insane amount of hype behind them, and they're just able to defeat them. I think that that's much more. That weighs a lot more for somebody's legacy in terms of being a dominant fighter in any era. I think that fighters like let's say Mighty Mouse, that was able to clear out the division multiple times, is why he is so looked up to by anybody and everybody that's in the MMA world. Like, somebody like that is able to say that they cleared out the division multiple times. They have multiple title defenses, and they are without a doubt one of the best MMA fighters to ever live in terms of the more recent eras of the UFC or MMA period. But in my personal opinion, I really do think that if you have multiple title defenses, it's just more impressive than being a champion in multiple. If you ask me, now there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to say